This is my little brother.
Yo, Adrian!
Nick.
Stop.
If you could describe the feelings associated with life before Jesus in one word, what do you think it would be?
In one word, it would be empty. I was an abandoned little boy. And both of our parents were heavy addicts, as well as him, as you guys know. And it was just me. I was the observer, you know. Both my parents would fight a lot. Kyle and my dad would fight a lot. And I would just sit there and I would watch everything happen. I would try to speak, but I didn't have any authority, if you want to call it that. Like, I would try to talk and they would just talk over me, you know. By the way, I never had a relationship with Kyle. Like, as we were growing up, yeah, he was my brother, but was he, you know, there talking to me? No. If anything, he was just stealing things.
Yeah,
you know,
stealing his bike, stealing his money, stealing his, you know, shoes.
And like, what was I gonna do? Call him out? He'd have been like, okay, you know. And because of all that, because of observing this life of what's going on, you know, I'm just figuring out life and I'm figuring out how to go about it, and experiencing all this hurt and this resentment that is building up and building up every day, you know, and not knowing how to express it. I have multiple doors where I've bashed them in just by myself. You know, when my dad's gone, my mom's gone, I haven't seen them in weeks, Kyle's doing whatever, and I'm just by myself figuring it out. Bashing my door. Literally. And as I was writing things down last night in my journal, I remembered that I had this huge hole in my wall. And I remember one night I got so angry that I didn't know what to do. So I just had to release something. So I freak out, break things. And I remember ramming my head into this wall over and over again. Jesus. Physically bashing my body to get this emptiness out, this abandonment, this void inside my heart that I didn't know how to ever fill. And it just progressively got worse. I got into drugs at age 13. I smoked my first blunt. And from there, it just progressed into a life of smoking weed every day. You know, I could go on and on about all of the things I did, but from, you know, doing it once a day to doing it every day to doing it at school to doing it by myself to doing psychedelics and shrooms to drinking by myself. That's when I knew it was really getting bad, when I would do these things by myself.
No longer it was just about chilling with friends.
Right. And it was the same thing as bashing my head into a wall, finding some way that I could. But as you guys know, that doesn't fill any void. You know, for a little bit, it might take your mind off it, but
yeah,
5 minutes later, you're right back at it. I used to be a fighter in school. I'd get in a lot of fights because that anger, you know, was still there. And I didn't know how to deal with it.
You were 16, 17, 19 in those years. Mm-hmm. What was going through your mind as far as the next steps for your life?
I honestly had no idea.
What was your hope?
My hope was to make a lot of money.
Okay.
That was what my mind was set on. If I have a lot of money, mm-hmm. and I can buy my happiness or
yes.
something like that. And that's a pretty typical mindset for this day and age. Get a lot of money, you'll be fine.
What changed? What happened?
Yeah, so this guy, you know, out of nowhere, we didn't really have a relationship, but I knew something was happening. He brought me to a Bucks game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers game down here, and he was just like, Nick, you should come to this little event we have. So I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And in my head in that moment, I'm like, oh, what did I just get myself into? Yeah, so I came down and I really, really learned who Jesus was. Keep in mind, guys, this was in the middle of after I graduated. Didn't have any plan for my life at all. I didn't. So I had nothing to lose. And to be honest, it was the lowest point of my life because after high school, you don't know what you're going to do. And then you just have life ahead of you.
Yeah.
Until you die. That's a scary place to be in. Especially when you're still living at your parents' house and all that stuff. But yeah, I came down here and I had an encounter with Jesus. So I want to read this Bible verse for you guys. It's Isaiah 55 verse 2. Like I said, I was basically an addict to money, like I was with weed. I would chase it every day. But Isaiah 55 verse 2 says, "Why do you spend money for what is not bread, and your wages for what does not satisfy? Listen carefully to me and eat what is good, and let your soul delight itself in abundance." Reading that, really opened my eyes to God saying, this money is going to get you nowhere. It's an empty void that you're in, this empty chase that you're in, and it will never satisfy you. But he says, listen carefully to me and eat what is good, and let your soul delight itself in abundance. Right?
So if you could describe your life with Jesus now in one word, what would it be?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one.
How?
In love.
In love.
Peace.
Yes,
in
Lord.
His peace of mind, in His presence, an abundance of His presence. That
Thank you, Lord.
is what will fulfill the desires of our lives. After I got this alliance with Jesus, this marriage with Jesus, and I experienced profound inner healing and a lot of forgiveness, right, in His love. And I started to pick up my cross and follow Him daily. Like I said, I didn't have a relationship with Him basically whatsoever. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, totally.
Now
broke.
we live together and we joke around. I bug the crap out of him.
Only all the time.
But it's a loving relationship. He's my discipler. We're real with each other. We talk about life and our struggles and how Jesus can get us through it, right?
Yeah.
Another one with my mom. We never had a relationship basically my entire life. And now, she's walking with Jesus. And we have a beautiful relationship where we talk about real things. And, that's just the relationship side. The Lord has blessed me with my own business. There's a whole story behind that, but He's blessed me with a business and with His presence, with this fullness in my heart that when I wake up in the morning, I desire to talk with Him, to read His Word, just to be with Him because I'm filled with His Spirit. And when you have that, you're not seeking after money. You're not seeking after these drugs or these emotions or drinking, whatever it may be for you. You don't seek after those things because you're full with His Spirit. You're full with His presence and His Word.
Yeah.
And then you want to go share it with other people.
Yeah.
Because of how full you are.
So guys, you've heard his testimony. I've been able to see firsthand the complete 180-degree transformation from this to this. You can have that as well. Jesus said that He did not come for those who have no need for a doctor, but He came for those who are sick, for the broken, for the weak, for the lame, for the blind, for the deaf, so that He can open our eyes and open our ears to the true reality of who He is. So if you are somebody who would like to get to know this Jesus, or you are somebody who knows Jesus but need help with making that next step, leave a comment below. And if you even want me to DM you, let me know that as well. And Nick can too. Amen, Nick?
Amen.
Keep it bye. Woo!